What on earth motivated you to become an Uber driver? Yeah, let's start there.
There you go. So at Oglethorpe, we sort of pride ourselves on teaching students to not be bystanders. And you can learn a lot in the classroom, but we also think you can learn a tremendous amount by going out and doing. And
so you did this to learn? So
I did this to learn, absolutely.
What'd you learn? Well,
I learned a lot about the business. I went online one afternoon, and in less than 24 hours, I became a driver. In less than 5 minutes, I got a phone call that said the Uber inspector was going to come out and inspect my car. And I had not washed my car. I had gym clothes in the back seats. I had to run out, put everything in the trunk. But the car got inspected, license got approved, and 24 hours I was an Uber driver.
What did you think? Okay, what was your opinion of Uber before becoming a driver and after? Uber as a company.
An occasional user. I don't use it in Atlanta. I use it when I travel in New York or Washington. And it's always been a really good experience. Convenient.
As a consumer.
As a consumer.
But how about as an employee? Because many people who are anti-Uber claim that it's abusive to its drivers.
Yeah, and so my older brother's a labor lawyer. He'd be in that category probably. My experience is that it, as a part-time driver, it's never felt abusive. But I'm also, I have a good job. I'm not trying to make a living doing it. So I think one of the most interesting things I discovered was had to do with the passengers. I had this perception, this stereotype that all Uber riders were college kids, young people using it for convenience, going out to a bar and coming back so they wouldn't drive drunk. But the reality is, in my experience, that over half of my drivers,
are your drivers or passengers?
Half of my riders, we're not young, we're not wealthy. I was picking them up in neighborhoods, near nice neighborhoods in Atlanta that weren't big houses, weren't fancy apartment buildings, and they were using it to get to work.
People who might ride the bus?
People might ride the bus, but in Atlanta, the public transportation system in Atlanta is pretty miserable.
Wow.
Yeah.
What did it
Doesn't it surprise you, Erik?
Yeah, it does. What did it teach you about what some people call the sharing economy or the networked economy? It's because of an app, right, that Uber functions as a company.
And it's an amazing app. I mean, from the driver's point of view, it's amazingly easy, convenient. There are I think over 160,000 Uber drivers now. So I've done maybe 24 rides, and it's a fascinating business model.
How much money did you make?
I'm up almost $200. I'm donating all the money is being donated to Oglethorpe Scholarship Fund, so I'm not getting rich here.
After doing it, do you think Uber takes too much? If you were an Uber driver, full-time, part-time, whatever it is, do you think they take too big of a cut?
They take 20%, at least in Atlanta, and it's never seemed unreasonable to me. A lot of my drives are $5 drives. It's picking up someone so that I'm getting $4. I've had, I think my biggest one was $26. That was actually, I picked up an Oglethorpe student.
You did?
My first.
Did they know who you were?
So he's sitting in the back seat, and he's looking at the mirror, and it was about a 25-minute ride. He doesn't say anything until we get to the end, and then he goes, "What are you doing after you drive, Dr. Schall?"
No way!
So,
do you think are the people who say companies like Uber are transforming the economy overstating the case, or based on your experience, is that true?
I think it is true. Uber is sort of the mother of all disruptive businesses. I'm in the business of higher education. Higher education is being disrupted now. I think it is transforming the economy.
Do you have a view on the pushback we've seen here in New York City, the political pushback against Uber?
Well, it's interesting. It didn't last long. It didn't last long. I mean, I think it's just, I chat with all my customers, and they love the service. And so I suspect it's here to stay.
Probably just because they had a good driver.
You run a liberal arts college. All the same, do you think Uber's worth $50 billion?
I have no idea. I mean, that's